Hello, you guys. Recently, Hannah Pick Me Pearl Davis, or as I like to call her, Hannibal Davis, got completely mollywopped. She got violently dragged across the debate stage by her scraggly, greasy ass rat's nest by Anna Kasparian. I actually filmed a video on their debate. I didn't post it, but it's filmed. All I have to do is edit and post. So let me know if you guys still want to see that, and I'll make sure to get that up for you guys. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Danielle. Please, if you can do me a favor and you decide that you are enjoying this video, go ahead and drop me a like and consider joining my cult. All you have to do is subscribe. Now back to the video. Anywho, if you don't know who these two women are, Anna Kasparian is a progressive political commentator on the Young Turks. And as I mentioned before in previous videos, I love Anna Kasparian. Even if I don't necessarily agree with all of her views, I think she is a bad bitch. I admire her so much. I believe she stands by her principles and she has a ton of courage. So for all of those reasons, plus many more, I have a lot of respect for her. Also, because I am not an immature child who makes politics my entire personality. Now, Pearl, on the other hand, I cannot stand. And it's not even for her views necessarily. It's mostly because of her stupidity. She is just a pick-me grifter, and I don't even like using the term pick-me. But if there was one appropriate time for it to be used, it would be with Pearl, because there's really no other way to describe her. She panders to incels on the internet, and I truly have never seen someone talk such nonsense about things they clearly know nothing about. The confidence with such little knowledge is honestly impressive. Now, like I said, these two women had a debate where Pearl absolutely bombed. Anna just completely demolished her. I don't even know how Pearl is able to show her face on the internet anymore. It was so embarrassing. I myself got severe secondhand embarrassment. I don't even want to watch it again, but I am doing this for you guys. Well, let's be honest, I'm doing it for myself. This is kind of like my job. Ugh, let's go, make it quick.
Pearl isn't saying anything. What?
You got this, Pearl!
What the fuck?
This is painful, man.
Whoa.
Do you have any other questions for me? All right.
What?
Because they're not strong enough.
Are you just making things up?
No.
Pearl, what are you doing? Like, seriously. Next question.
Do you realize how good you have it?
A lot of women do die as a result of pregnancy and childbirth, yes. This is painful, man. Do you have any other questions for me?
Not right now.
All right. Should I move on? Like, what are we doing now?
Can I ask a couple questions?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm more of a feminist than you.
Sure. Go great. Congratulations. This is the longest 30 minutes of my life.
Okay, I'm going to interject.
Now, yes, this is obviously a compilation of Pearl freezing, but I'm not kidding you guys. I watched the entire debate and there were portions where Pearl was freezing for such a long time. And like this video says, it was happening at the parts where Pearl was supposed to be interrogating Anna. She just completely bombed. She didn't have any answers for anything. She just looked so stupid and exposed herself as a grifter and a fraud. Because when your beliefs and your standards are built on principles that you yourself can't even live up to, it's just all fake. And not only did Anna sense that, but the audience did as well. And the entire audience, well, most of the audience was there for Pearl. They were Pearl defenders. They weren't there for Anna. But anyways, what makes this even worse and extremely hypocritical is the fact that Pearl has created her entire career and spends her days lecturing women on how to be a traditional wife, how women should behave, that women are basically useless and have no value by their mid-20s, and they should have children and be married by then, and if not, then, you know, they have no value to society. When she herself is 29 years old, not married, not even in a relationship from what I know, doesn't have any children, prioritizes her career. When I was doing research for this, I was watching her podcast. She openly admitted that she doesn't even know how to cook, she doesn't know how to iron, and she doesn't even know how to fold clothes. Her words. So she is the exact opposite of what she preaches.
But it doesn't make them more attracted to you. So if you have money and you don't have feminine characteristics, it's like, what's the point?
I just wanted to clarify that I don't think being a traditional wife or a stay-at-home mom is a bad thing. I actually think it can be really beautiful if that's genuinely your purpose. And I fully respect any woman who chooses that path. The issue is not the lifestyle itself. The issue is when someone treats women as though their value decreases if they don't adhere to that specific standard. That's where I have a problem. Personally, I can't wait to get married and have children one day. That's something I do want for myself, but I would never push my preferred lifestyle onto anyone else, just like I wouldn't force someone to follow a specific religion, except for my cult, obviously, that's different. But I'm a very kind cult leader, and I figured since everyone else is running around acting like they're in a cult, I might as well start my own. So this entire debate, and Anna did a really good job of pointing this all out, it just exposed her as the grifter she is, and, you know, showed that she's just completely full of shit. She claims to know about what men want, what they look for in women, all of the issues they face on a day-to-day basis. But when she was pressed about this and, you know, she had to answer and provide evidence, statistics for her claims, she was unable to do so. And I mean, it's no secret that Pearl doesn't know anything about what a man desires. So yeah, the debate was awful. It's obviously not her forte. She was extremely awkward. You could tell she was uncomfortable. I mean, but Pearl is kind of awkward just in general. She doesn't really have the best communication and people skills. She really should just stick to arguing with OnlyFans models and bashing women on her podcast who aren't there and able to respond, like she does here.
I don't think she's going to stand out in Denver, but I don't think she'll do bad either. It's really going to be dependent on her personality. She'll get in the door, maybe not with like...
God, her hair is greasy. Let me zoom into this. Pearl, you only have a couple strands of hair and it's greasy? Shouldn't it be easy to maintain proper hair hygiene and keep track of your greasy hairs when you only have like 10 strands on your head?
I don't know, I'd say A-level men in the city, but she like a B-level guy. I think she's got a sleeve, so she's going to have to go more like hot guy, less money, but that's what the women are doing now anyways. 5, are you out of your mind? She's skinny. Is that all you have to be? Not on this show. Go make your own show and simp. Go make your own show and overrate. I'll tell you exactly why I gave her that rating.
How low does your rating get when you got like 10 strands of greasy ass hairs on your head? Huh? What's that rating? What's that look like?
Okay, I don't give better ratings just because the market's inflated, okay? I can't tell. I don't see a crazy body on her. If she has a crazy body, she could be a 6. She looks skinny flat right now. I can't tell. You guys probably have a better eye for that sort of thing. You guys, maybe I can go further. She's got nice hair. I'd say 5.5, but her face, it's not that symmetrical. The eyes are too far apart. She's got nice teeth, but she's got the sleeve. Again, like, it's not a bad face, but it's just not, like, to be 6, that's above average. I have to be impressed.
Mind you guys, this is Pearl talking about. This is this woman giving these ratings and talking about how another woman looks. Pearl.
I'm impressed she's not fat. I'm impressed she's got blonde hair. I'm impressed she's got light eyes. That's it. That's all I got. Makeup now is modern day sorcery. She's a mid. I'm not saying... I'd probably say 5, right? I'm going to put her in the 5 category, depending on how fat she is and how she carries the weight.
So yeah, this bitch has the audacity to call other women a 5 and say they're mid when this 5-haired ginger cunt walks around looking like a perpetual yeast infection and reeks of body odor and sardines. And let's be honest, it's so cringe the way she throws around the word simp. Literally the only people I've ever heard use the word simp obsessively and cry about the amount of makeup women wear and go around rating them are incels. So actually, Pearl, I always thought you were pandering to incels, but maybe you are one. Listen, for the ladies who are watching this, if a man ever uses the word simp in front of you and then proceeds to either rate you or other women or cry about you wearing makeup on the first date or makes jokes about how he's going to take women swimming on the first date, blah, 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 shit like that, that is a pretty good indicator that he is struggling when it comes to getting women badly. Pearl also says that women who are 25 are hotter than women who are 35. Therefore, younger equals hotter. Keep in mind, guys, that Pearl is at least 5 years younger than I am.
25-year-old chicks or women are hotter than 35-year-old women.
Okay, that's not too bad. I'm not too offended by that. But here, Miss Hannah Pearl Davis tweeted, 16-year-old chicks are hotter than 26-year-old chicks. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like tweeting that a 16-year-old is hot in any way, shape, or form is quite odd. Mind you, like I said, Pearl is 29 years old and looks like this. I don't really like talking about other women's looks, but I feel like I can make an exception in this case because, well, it's Pearl. But if she looks like this at the age of 29, by the time she is 35, she's gonna look like the witch from Hocus Pocus, if she's lucky. Wait, no, her hair is way too good. Not greasy enough. Okay, never mind. She'll be lucky if she looks like the witch from Hansel and Gretel. Okay, so now that you've got that little introduction and you know who Pearl is, after she got completely cooked on the debate stage, she took to her lame ass podcast to cope and complain about it. Essentially, just making a bunch of excuses. And I figured today it would be fun to laugh at her.
And I gotta be honest, guys, I cannot stand debates. I hate debating. It's not really the strongest suit of mine.
I find it so ironic that she says she hates debates, yet her entire podcast is built around criticizing women and going after OnlyFans models or women who aren't there to give any pushback. That's not someone who dislikes confrontation. That's someone who prefers it on their own terms. Because Pearl is not a confident woman. That's why she has to tear down others. And to be clear, I am not an OnlyFans supporter whatsoever. Personally, I think OnlyFans
is the devil. Everything is the devil to you, mama!
But in all seriousness, it really is. But that's not even the point. The point is that a lot of women she brings on her show aren't educated, they're not informed, and they aren't good debaters. Not all, but she specifically goes after women she knows are not educated. So of course she feels comfortable debating them. When the other person is informed, prepared, and willing to challenge her directly, it exposes her weakness. She wants a dynamic where she holds the upper hand. She doesn't want opposition, she wants easy targets.
So I did have a little bit of hesitation taking the debate in the first place because I always have felt like debates are about being right more than getting what is accurate. And the people that win debates just tend to be people that are very good at being a bitch and arguing.
Whoa. She didn't lose because Anna was being a bitch. She lost because she kept pausing. She didn't have answers for the question she was being asked. She didn't even speak when it was her turn to interrogate Anna. Did I already say she paused? Well, she paused. She didn't provide sources or statistics for the things she was saying. When she was asked for sources, she couldn't think of them. She was essentially pulling shit out of her ass. That's not someone being mean or being a bitch. That's just someone who was more prepared for the debate.
And in order to win debates, I've always felt like you kind of have to be a bitch back. And it's really, I understand because I call women fat whores a lot. You would think that would come naturally to me. But I don't know. I've always felt like if you ever checked out my demeanor, I might say I'm fatigued of black people, But I think people can sense in my heart, I don't have any hate towards black people. In fact, like half of the posse I showed up with was black or Dominican. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know what? So, and even when I call women fat whores, I've always felt like people know that, or people can understand from my demeanor. And I think
Pearl, you're a fat whore.
that's why people follow me. I don't have any hatred in my heart towards it.
No, Pearl, I don't think you have hate in your heart. I think you're just stupid. And you say things that you know will get clicks. You say things that you feel are so badass and edgy and controversial, but you're just stupid. A lot of what you say comes off like you're trying way too hard. You're trying way too hard to pander to men who will never look twice at you. You're trying way too hard to say things that spark outrage. And that's the main issue with Pearl. She doesn't have a single intelligent thought. She lacks nuance and she oversimplifies really complex topics. She also does anything and everything she can to portray women in the worst possible way.
I was talking to this woman that got her husband left her for like a stripper or something the other day. And I was like, damn, it's like that sometimes. I don't have hatred in my heart towards anybody. And I really hate conversations where I'm talking to somebody that's bitchy. I hate it. It's not my favorite thing.
Again, Anna was not being bitchy.
I don't mind, even if they're condescending, I can get through that, but I hate yelling. I hate screaming. I hate it. And I know this is me giving excuses, whining. I'm a woman, right?
Oh my God. This is another thing about Pearl that really irritates me. It's when she makes self-deprecating comments and then follows them up with, oh, I'm a woman, right? It's because I'm a woman. It's like she's using herself as proof that women are just the worst. They're always the problem. If you listen throughout this video, every time she starts complaining about something, she immediately follows it up with, well, it's because I'm a woman. I am a woman after all. She tries to act like she has so much self-awareness, but she's actually just desperately trying to position herself as the cool girl who isn't like the other girls. It's like, look guys, I'm different. I'm not like those other girls. I see how awful women are. It's just so freaking performative and so cringe. It's just like the most pathetic and try hard way to gain male approval. She's so thirsty for validation from men, it actually makes me sick.
So I was kind of hesitant to take this because I just know it's not my forte. But I heard Anna Kasparian would be my opponent. And I've really heard her speak over the years. And I was actually kind of hoping she'd be a little bit more of a moderate position, but it turns out she's still batshit insane.
I would argue Pearl is actually batshit insane.
And, I had someone say to me the other day that debates are really only useful when two experts are debating. And I actually think that's true.
No, Pearl, you're a fucking idiot. You don't have to be an expert and don't let anybody make you feel like you have to know more or be an expert in something to question somebody's ideas. And also, being labeled an expert doesn't automatically make you correct about everything. Pearl, you're a fucking idiot. Like, just stop.
Because when two experts are debating on a topic, like if we're going to do Gaza, right? The people that go on these stages, it's usually people that represent the issues and are not directly involved. So it's just a necessary evil. So anyways, I did end up taking the debate and I said, you know what? This would be good to challenge me. It would be good for me to think through some of my opinions. And I have a bit of a stage fright. I don't think I've done a lot of stage stuff. And I think it's a little counterintuitive. You would think because I talk into the camera for a living that I would, how do I put it? That I wouldn't really have a stage fright. I wouldn't really be like, but there's something about crowds that I don't like seeing you guys. This camera, perfect. I can talk.
Oh my God. Now it's the camera. Now it's stage fright. We've heard excuse after excuse after excuse. First, Anna was being bitchy. I don't like being yelled at. I have stage fright. I don't like crowds. I think only experts should be debating. It's literally just a huge ass cope. All of these excuses and explanations, but none of these explanations involve the possibility that she might just be misinformed or plain stupid. At some point, Pearl, you're just going to have to consider the fact that maybe you're just wrong. Maybe you're just wrong about everything. Maybe you're just dumb. And I'm not trying to be mean, but Pearl says a lot of stupid shit without backing any of it up with any supporting evidence, any statistics at all.
Crowd, I have a harder time. And the worst part was the crowd was the best crowd. I talked to them before. They're all so nice. They're there to see me win, the majority of the crowd. I talked to them before. It was mostly there for me.
She's right. And actually, I'm sorry, stop pausing it, but I have so much to say with this. That entire crowd well, not the entire crowd, but the majority of the crowd was there for Pearl. In fact, Anna kept getting in trouble because she was answering questions from the audience because freaking Pearl kept pausing for so long that the audience actually started to try to help Pearl. So they started screaming out questions to Anna. So not only was Anna debating Pearl, but she was also answering questions to the audience at the very same time. And the moderator had to yell at Anna and be like, one question at a time. But Anna was so bored up there. She wasn't being challenged because Pearl is so dumb. She was pausing. The bitch was completely stumped. She didn't have another question. So audience members were like yelling questions at her and she was answering them with no problem, no hesitation. She was debating like the whole crowd and Pearl at the same time. Literally just shows that Pearl had no business being up there. Anna is so seasoned. She's so good at debating. And like I said, I don't agree 100% with Anna. She is a super duper progressive, but you have to respect a woman like that. You have to respect such a smart woman, a woman with so much courage. Like, how can you not respect and admire a woman that's up there fearless, answering so many questions at the same time, while Pearl's dumbass is up there all overwhelmed and scared? And yeah, I guess, you could say Pearl, it was her first big debate, but then why are you sitting here trash talking Anna instead of being like, damn, like, she's good. I hope to be that good someday. She really knows her shit. She's on it. If anything, you got to respect her for her debate skills. But no, instead Pearl's still grifting, still acting like a dumbass, still trash talking Anna. She's just such an idiot. Such an idiot. I don't even know how people like her.
Or at least like rooting for me. But for some reason, I don't know, sometimes my head, it just goes blank and it was just an L. It was a complete L at parts of it. I did come back the second half. So I'm preparing for this debate and we start the debate show. And again, this is just not my forte. I like to talk like this. I hate bringing my voice down to talk like a man to get people to stop being mean. I hate mean people. I hate having to be mean back. I hate it. I hate it in my deep, dark soul. I hate it. I'm just not a fan. It's just contrary to my nature, And the biggest thing I don't like in debates is statistics. And this is where I know everybody.
I cannot believe she said that. The biggest thing I hate in debates is statistics. Yeah, I hate having to provide statistics because it prevents me from just pulling shit out of my ass to fit my narrative. That's basically what she's saying. I hate facts. I just hate facts and evidence because then I just can't pull shit out of my ass. That explains a lot, actually.
Everybody's cooking me right now, and it's deserved, right? So before the debate, I wanted to submit all the statistics. I wanted them all submitted ahead of time because I thought that this debate might go down so many different rabbit holes, right? It goes down all these different rabbit holes. But, this was the first launch of the show, and for whatever reason, that couldn't be done. But what I don't like is in debates, the person that just says source the most and tries to discredit your statistics, they just win. And if you don't do it back, like you almost can't even have a conversation because people just keep interrupting you and trying to say that you're lying and your sources are inaccurate. And when you do this for 5 years, I really do have a system for sources where I know if I'm quoting it, it's accurate and I've looked into it before. But it's very difficult over a 5-year period to remember the name, sample size, where the studies took place, especially when you're doing 20 different topics. This isn't an excuse. It's just something I struggle with, right? And that's really where she got me. Is she came out guns blazing, and we're going to react to this. So in the future, I really wish that we could have submitted the stats ahead of time and just both accepted each other's stats. But then you get
just trust me, bro. Just trust me, bro.
the same problem. If one person's unreasonable, they'll just discredit all of your stats. And then it just becomes whoever can recall the name of the study gets to use it. So the biggest mistake I made was you guys won't even believe this. If you notice, the first half of the debate, I had all of my statistics printed.
No, we saw you. Don't worry, girl. We saw you fumbling with your whole stack of papers. Actually, you know what that reminded? It was so obvious that Pearl did not belong on the debate stage with Anna Kasparian of all people. I heard somebody call her the Michael Jordan of debate, and it's so true. She really is that good. But Pearl fumbling with all her papers reminds me of when I was little. I used to play teacher and teach my family members English, and I would pull out, my stack of papers and act like like I was correcting their homework and pull out my whiteboard and teach them, like pretend to teach them things. Well, actually, I was kind of a good teacher, but I would have my stack of papers pretending like I was sitting there grading papers. That's exactly what Pearl reminded me of. Like somebody who literally, like a child who is out of place, like is playing a character, completely does not belong there, is cosplaying as a serious person with a real profession, and is completely just acting a fool. So embarrassing. Just fumbling around a bunch of props. It looked like a prop. Pearl, you looked silly.
Because I knew I struggled with this. Oh my God. And I thought this was a good idea. I thought, bitch, I'll have them all right here. But what I didn't anticipate is you don't really have time in a debate to find every statistic. Yeah, do you know what? But, even though I lost this debate and I thought about it, I know that I did everything I could. I wish my nerves did not overcome me, but they did. And I know I studied, like from the time I knew about the debate to the time that I did it. This girl has 20 years of debate experience. I wish I did better, but I didn't. I'm sorry, guys. I really do wish I did better, but there's just sometimes it's very difficult talking to someone that'll go low, because then you just have to go lower. And if you stay high, you just have to listen to them.
See, sometimes I want to be like, okay, Pearl, at least she's not being delusional. At least she's accepting that she took an L. She lost the debate. At least she's like grasping that. But then she says things like, oh, she went so low. She was acting like a bitch, saying all of these things that are completely untrue. She didn't go low. She was actually very professional. So there's times where I want to like kind of side with Pearl and be like, okay, she's not that bad. At least she's getting the fact that she is awful at debating. But then she says things that are completely ridiculous and untrue and like wants people to feel sorry for her or something. It was a debate, Pearl. What do you want her to do? Like coddle you? Be like besties with you? What do you expect?
Kind of bitch at you for an hour. I didn't rage quit. But do you know what I thought? There was a point where I did want to throw hands. I'm not going to lie. She's like 5'1". I thought about it. I'm like, you can talk like this to men, but I'm bigger than you. I could body you. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I know, but I have this fear in me of the police.
What? Saying what kind of, like, guys, seriously, what kind of woman have you ever heard say that I can body you? I'm bigger than you. I can body you. I've never heard a woman automatically start like turn to fighting. That's like something that men do. And actually it proves my point of how masculine she really is. She really is masculine. And it completely clashes with like this traditional women housewife thing that she's trying to promote. It's so weird. I literally, guys, I'm not even kidding. I've never heard a woman automatically be like, oh, I can body you. I'm bigger than you. That's so gross. Like men do that. You know what I mean? That is not feminine at all. At all.
I want to like get in trouble in that way. But I'm getting older. And have you noticed the older you get, I'm like, do you know what? I could catch a charge. Yeah, I don't know. She was a little ghetto, I know I was too polite. I know the moderators.
Calling Anna ghetto after you literally said you wanted to throw hands and you could body her. The self-awareness is non-existent here. Self-awareness, never heard of her. Pearl, you aren't just ghetto. You are masculine, like super, super masculine. I hope you know that.
That was a complaint, actually. I am a woman. Thank you guys so much for inviting me. You guys are awesome, but that is a complaint of mine. I don't understand how this woman was able to basically verbally abuse me with no recourse.
Oh my God, now it's the moderator's fault.
Sorry, I shouldn't say abuse with a woman in me. But like, I was sitting there and I'm thinking like, how is this allowed?
Oh, okay, guys. So now she is gonna invite her little butt buddies up on here just so they can like glaze her and tell her how good she did, how amazing she was, and how great the event went, blah, blah, blah. So let's take a listen.
It was great. Good job, Rob Noor and everyone that did that whole thing. I mean, it was great. We got you to the point where you said, I'm ready. And that's the best thing that a team can do. And guys, remember, all these e-girls, Anna, Candace, Brett Cooper, they've had men build them up.
Okay, so this little friend of hers is saying that, Anna, Candace, all these women, they've all had men build them up. But then I found this clip.
I literally think that if I didn't have my dad helping me with the YouTube channel, I'm a woman. I would just flop and just chill out.
So all of these women had men building them up, but yet Pearl probably had the biggest head start of all because her father invested a lot of money into her YouTube channel and helped her get started. Not only that, but she comes from a rich family. Both of her parents, they own a business, they're extremely wealthy. So this guy's like trying to say, oh, all of these women have had help from men and Pearl's had to do this on her own. So she always wants to like give her dad credit to make her look like, to bash women because we're so weak and we're not capable of doing anything. But now when it suits her, when it comes to comparing herself to another woman, suddenly Pearl's self-made. She's done everything herself. She never got a leg up, but she only mentions things and uses them when they're convenient for her. And that is literally like she's such a grifter, such a fraud.
Anna wouldn't be anywhere without Cenk Uygur. And Pearl doesn't have that machine. And she's literally growing and learning in front of the bright lights. So sometimes you take the wins, sometimes you take losses. She got up there in front of the bright lights and did her best. I'm a Pearl supporter no matter what. I'm glad to be along for this ride, and we'll get him next time.
Yeah,
Get him next time.
I'm down to do it again.
Moving forward,
Please,
honestly, if you're
no.
going to debate a woman, you have to be willing to go low. I mean, because here's the thing, like, unlike a lot of people in the space, Pearl's a good person, and a lot of these people aren't, and you can tell by the way that they get down and dirty and insult people.
So now they're all gonna stick their heads way up Pearl's fucking ass.
Stuff like that. And I'm guessing that's going to have to be a necessary part of the game, especially when you debate women.
Sometimes when there's a rabid dog barking at me, I freeze. That's the best way to describe it.
Pearl is just such a pick-me bitch. She is not a girl's girl at all. To be talking like this about another woman, calling her a rabid dog, saying that, she's ghetto, all these things. You're so gross, Pearl. You're so disgusting. Anna was extremely respectful. She was classy. She treated you kindly for a debate. Pearl, it was a debate. Like, what do you want her to do? Like I said, what do you want her to freaking hug you the whole time, hold you in her arms, rock you to sleep? What do you want her to do? She wasn't like harsh. She wasn't brutal. She wasn't out of line. She wasn't being like rude. She was being slightly sarcastic at times. But dude, that's what makes it's entertaining. It made it interesting. It made it fun. Otherwise, we would be bored to death because you weren't saying anything. All you're doing is exposing how weak and thin-skinned you are. You spend your whole time, bashing women that are so sensitive. They're so weak. They can't take a joke, all this crap, when that's you. You're literally so fragile. Such a little baby.
That's the best. Like, I just,
There's no shame in that. Okay. There's no shame in it. I mean, you're being honest with yourself, which is what people need to grow and become better. You're not hiding, behind the shield of delusion. And I mean, I personally think you did pretty good, to be honest with you. Now, I myself am not a fan of Anna. I didn't speak to her at the event, though I did walk by her and, at the mixer after the fact, and I got like some really negative vibes from her. And
I walked by her and I got some negative vibes. Oh my God. She's like a witch. I got some negative vibes from across the room. I just walked by her and I could feel the vibes. Shut up, dude. You sound like a chick.
I just don't think she's a good person. I don't know her personally, so I shouldn't say that, but that's just the vibe I got from her.
I know that a lot of people thought, and maybe you think this too, that you ran out of steam, but she did too. Because when you stopped talking, so did she.
No, dude, don't get it twisted. Anna did not lose. She literally ran laps around Pearl and she could have ran 100 more. She could have went for another hour or two. If anything, Anna was just getting started. That was just a warm up for her, and still Pearl couldn't keep up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And women don't stop talking just because they love to talk. So I just think it was just too long. And, at some point, it just made it look like you were the one that ran out of steam. But trust me, she ran out of steam too. She had nothing else to say. So for it to be the first time, I'm just surprised that nothing much went wrong in terms of production people. No fights broke out.
No, I was getting out of pocket and yelling and stuff in the first half. I had to get up and walk away, and that's on me, and I accept that.
Oh my God, I was like so invested because I have Pearl's back so much, and I just love her so much. She's so awesome. I got so upset I had to walk away, and that's on me.
That was an emotional debate,
Yeah.
And do you know what's funny though? I was thinking about how in a way the debate was DEI because no, I was thinking about it. I'm like, just the fact that there was a silence here, that would never happen with two men. I was thinking this. And I'm like, it kind of proves the point because there was two people like.
How does that logic even make sense? She said the pauses would have never happened between two men, but this dude right below her just said that women don't shut up. Women like to talk.
And women don't stop talking just because they love to talk. So
I was thinking about how in a way the debate was DEI because no, I was thinking about it. I'm like, just the fact that there was a silence here, that would never happen with two men. I was thinking this. And I'm like, it kind of proves the point because there was two people, like two guys that debated before us and none of that happened for them. So
So which is it? Would the pauses not have happened with men because they love to talk, or is it women who don't shut up? This is what I mean when I say like her arguments are always so ridiculous and fragile. And it's honestly so pathetic the way Pearl is always pandering to men. Ew, Pearl, you are so gross. So anyways, Pearl basically exposed herself for the grifter she is. She is the complete opposite of everything she claims a woman should be. And here she is saying that Anna was so bitchy to her, she was so mean to her, yet she has built her entire platform off of tearing down other women, telling them that, they're worthless past the age of 25, that they're not pretty enough, that they're mid. She rates them, which is weird in itself. She name calls them, like she said, she calls them fat whores. She basically spends the entire day tearing down women, and that is not an exaggeration. And trust me, guys, I am not a feminist in the slightest. I love men, but I also love being a woman. I think it's feminine. I think it's sexy. I think it's beautiful. I think it's powerful. And honestly, I think that's exactly why Pearl does what she does. It's why she panders to men and acts like the ultimate pick-me, because she lacks femininity, she lacks beauty, she's very masculine, and I think she knows deep down that the men she panders to would never look twice at her otherwise, except obviously to listen to her validate their grievances. And that's actually what's really sad to me. After all this pandering and grifting, these men still don't want her. Men are very visual. Physical attraction comes first for them. If men are not attracted to you, they might enjoy listening to you every now and then, but that's where it ends. She is not being chosen. These men don't really want anything to do with her other than to maybe listen to her every now and then through their phone screens. And I do have to admit, to make this fair, there is an amount of truth to some of the things Pearl says, but as I mentioned earlier, she lacks nuance, she oversimplifies really complex topics, and she always goes out of her way to frame women in the worst way possible. She reduces really complicated social dynamics into black and white talking points, and to me, it just feels really disingenuous and actually really embarrassing. And I think probably worst of all, and probably the grossest thing to me, if it wasn't clear already, is the way she panders to men. Like when she says things like women shouldn't vote.
I don't think women should vote.
Huh?
I don't think women should vote.
I don't think women should vote. She always says things and then laughs about it like it's funny, but she just looks completely stupid.
I don't think women should vote.
Huh?
I don't think women should vote.
I think
That's pretty cringe.
I guess she's not allowed to have.
I think like she's dying to get these people to listen, but literally nobody cares what she has to say. Listen to how many times she says, I think.
That's pretty cringe.
I guess she's not allowed to have an opinion if she doesn't want to vote.
If I was on a first date, if I was on a first date and he said women shouldn't vote, I'd be like, my God.
Well, do you vote? I'm the one.
Too much to back one of these guys.
Do you vote?
I have to.
But you don't though. You just said you don't.
But the reason that I'll tell you why I think this though. It's because men are put in selective service. So men are fined $300,000 if they don't. Basically, it's called conscription. And I just think if we're gonna vote, it should be equal rights, equal lefts, baby. We wanted equality. And personally, I don't want to be drafted. That's just my opinion on it.
So you vote so you won't get drafted, but you don't think women should vote.
I vote because I can, but I don't think women should vote. Yeah, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to win for the conservatives. Yeah.
I don't think that adds up, but
I vote because I can, but I don't think women should. So then don't vote, bitch. So then don't fucking vote. How about that? You sound stupid. And literally, how gross is it that she said, if I went on a date with a man and he said that women shouldn't vote, I would be like, my guy, ew, that's all it takes for you? You're so gross. You're not even pro men. You're just anti-woman. Because if you were pro men, you would be fighting for things for men instead of fighting to take away things from women. You're so gross. You're such a pick-me. And it's so like, it's such an ugly girl feature. Only only ugly girls are not girls. You realize that, right? Because girls, hot girls, lift each other up. And I'm not even just saying this to be like, superficial, like hot girls. No, truly, hot girls, and I mean hot inside, confidence, outside, femininity, radiates confidence, all that kind of stuff. Hot girls lift each other up. But you're obviously so insecure. You're so gross. And I don't know if it's because of the way you look, but you're obviously not a hot girl. Otherwise, you would be supporting other women. And I'm not talking about in like a toxic feminist kind of way. I'm just talking about like in a girlhood kind of way. You're just like such a pick me. And I know it's kind of played out when it comes to Pearl, but she really is. It's really just it's so gross. And even guys don't even like that shit. Yeah, they might tell you to your face, Pearl. They might tell you to kind of like appease you and make you happy, make you feel good inside. But trust me, they don't want you at the end of the day. You're gross. You're gross to men and women. She also says that, all women do is nag and they're all so nuts. She was against divorce, even in cases of DV, but she has now changed her stance on that because she feels as though we need to free the men from these crazy women. Not free the women from their violent, abusive husbands. No. We need to free the men from these crazy women. As if she couldn't get any more disgusting.
And the reason it was dumb is because I can't imagine living with some of these women. There has to be more peace getting raked through the coals in child support, living in an apartment by yourself, than living with some of these women. It just sounds like hell on earth. And I actually believe in divorce to free the men from these nagging wives. If you guys ever lived with a nagging woman, it just never ends. Ever. They just always find something to complain about forever. And
Pearl, it seems as though you're the one always nagging about women. She even said this about Anna Kasparian. She would pause for long periods of time, and then finally Anna would say something because it was just dead air. It was so awkward. Nobody was saying anything in front of a crowd and a live audience that was being filmed. And she started accusing Anna of nagging, saying that she was nagging. Girl, it's a debate. There's supposed to be a back and forth. That's what you're supposed to do. Have a back and forth, not just sit there silently. That's not nagging. That's literally why you guys were invited there, to debate. She's like obsessed with this idea that, all women are just like crazy and nagging all the time. But she is actually the one always nagging. She's always nagging about things like women are doing this, women are doing that. Like, Pearl, you are legitimately a nagger and so annoying, and you never shut up.
Women are just so mean. Like, they pick at, men can kind of
and
see
what are
guys
you?
As dorky or awkward or different, but they can put their differences aside to, get the thing done. They're not really harsh with it. But women will spend hours just telling you how you're a bad person. That's their point. And they can never just move on. And they scare me, Since I got on the internet, it scares me to have close female friends because, God, they're just so nuts. Anyways, long story short, one of my worst takes was banning divorce. You got to free these men from these crazy women. I would like to see 50-50 custody, but if we could get the divorce on the table with 50-50 custody, then I actually think the kids are better off because they can at least know what a house is like without a nagging crazy wife. The problem is that
they can actually know what a house is like without a mother, without a female role model, without a woman of the home, without their caretaker. That's what Pearl wants. Pearl is okay with mothers being removed from the home. That's what Pearl wants. And what the fuck is up with that hairstyle, Pippi Longstocking? Get it together. What is this look?
Is the court system now, it only gives the kid to the mother, so the kids are just tortured. Oh my God, I can't even imagine. If you guys had a crazy mother and it was just you at home, oh, that would be torture. Absolute torture. Yeah, so that take, there's some takes I'll probably have to walk back, and that's one of them. Repeal the 19th I can't talk about anymore, but you guys know my opinion on that one.
Yeah, we know your opinion. You want women to not be able to vote. All in all, it honestly is quite sad that Pearl panders to men that would never otherwise look twice at a woman like her. She has built an entire career tearing down the very same women that the men in her audience actually pursue, all while trying to gain their approval and attention. And the irony in all of this is she criticizes women for not being married by the age of 25, for not having children in their mid to early 20s, for prioritizing their careers, yet those are the exact same circumstances that she is currently in. Not to mention, like I heard her say in her own words on her podcast, she doesn't know how to cook, she doesn't know how to iron or fold clothes properly, and personally, to me, I feel like those are all basic, those are like womanly instincts, right? Those are all things that I was raised doing because I would hang out with my grandma and my mom. They would teach me how to fold clothes alongside them. We would talk, we would bond. And I just don't understand how a woman like her is now almost 30 years old and has still not perfected a fold. I started doing my entire family's laundry, the dishes, cleaning the kitchen, cleaning the house when I was in elementary school. Maybe even before I started elementary, right? Elementary is what, like kindergarten to, I think before then. Actually, definitely before, way before. And then on top of that, she's constantly talking about, femininity and traditional women, yet she portrays herself in ways that don't necessarily align with traditional values. And like I said, she is very masculine. I mean, you guys will have to let me know, what do you think? Do you think this woman is feminine? Does this scream femininity to you, or is she more on the masculine side? It all just comes off very hypocritical and performative. Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought about this. Let me know if you guys want to watch the debate. You want me to kind of review the debate between her and Anna Kasparian. I feel like I will get in trouble for violence because, like I said, she got completely mollywopped. She got dragged by the 10 little hairs on her head, and it was brutal. Pearl got completely demolished. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to join my cult. We are now accepting new cult members. And I'll see you next time. Take care.